When you think of a full-size luxury SUV, the first name that probably comes to mind is the Cadillac Escalade. After all, it has been on sale since 1999. But BMW recently made an entry into the full-size luxury SUV space, and they have been bringing on a lot of sales. So what is the best luxury SUV for your family in early 2025? The 2024 Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum or the 2023 BMW X7 XDrive40i? Let's dive right into this comparison and see what these two are all about. Let's begin with the pricing and the trim level. Unlike the Cadillac Escalade, the X7's trim levels actually have nothing to do with the amount of luxury or the features provided. They only affect the engine. The X7 comes in two different trim levels, known as the XDrive40i or the M60i. We have the XDrive40i, so we get the inline 6-cylinder engine, but more on that later. With the options that we have today, this one is about $93,000. The Escalade that we have today is the Top Dog Sport Platinum, which has all the features that you would want from an Escalade plus a sporty exterior design. With all the options that we have on today's model, including the Onyx package and the white paint job, this one is about $122,000. That is quite a lot more expensive than the X7 that we have today, by about $30,000, but we will see throughout the video if the Escalade is worth $30,000 more. So let's dive right into this comparison between the Cadillac Escalade and the BMW X7 to see if the Escalade is worth $30,000 more than the X7 and to see which one is the best for your family in 2025. Starting with the exterior design, the X7 will have a large kidney grille in chrome since we have the luxury package and a functional vent at the bottom. The Escalade has a bold and menacing look, with the Sport Platinum throwing in a large black dot grille and the Onyx package offering a monochrome Cadillac crest. With the headlights, the X7 is going to have a split design borrowed from the 7 Series sedan. You get an LED daytime running light and a fading LED turn signal at the top, and at the bottom you'll find your projector-style LED headlamp. Let's check out the animations that you get with the X7. The Escalade will provide you with a more traditional design, but the headlights are still going to be fully LED. You get an LED daytime running light at the bottom, a reflective style LED headlamp at the top, and your turn signal is going to be integrated with the LED daytime running light at the bottom. The Escalade also has animation, so let's check those out. When it comes to the wheels, the X7 has many different options ranging from 21 inches to 23 inches. We have the smallest 21-inch alloy wheel with a split-spoke design, and you can choose between summer tires and all-season tires. With the Escalade, you get 22-inch wheels across the board, and with the Sport Platinum, there are going to be two options. These gloss black 22-inch alloy wheels come with the Onyx Appearance package, but there is one other design if you do not choose this package. Moving on to the side profile, the X7 is going to have a lot of chrome when you choose the luxury package, like this hockey stick molding at the bottom and around the windows. The fenders are going to be body colored and the mirrors are going to be fully loaded with heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. The car will automatically lock when you walk away from the vehicle, and it will automatically unlock when you approach the vehicle with the key fob in your pockets. Moving to the Escalade, it's going to be a little bit different since we have the Onyx package. You'll find a black molding at the bottom, black window surrounds, a monochrome Cadillac crest, and power running boards at the bottom, which are not available on the X7. The door handles are going to be illuminated and electronic, and the two-tone side mirrors are going to be fully loaded with heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. I do appreciate that the door mirrors are quite a lot larger than the average vehicle, considering the size of this car. Moving to the back, the X7 is going to have two trapezoidal exhaust ports in the tow hitch, and the Escalade with the Onyx package is going to have a fully blacked out diffuser and two blacked out trapezoidal exhaust ports. The Escalade badge is also going to be in black, and you're going to find a standard bumper cover. As far as the taillights are concerned, the X7 is going to have incredibly detailed and very good looking fully LED taillights. You're going to get an LED brake light, an LED reverse light, and a fading LED turn signal that is integrated with the brake lights. Let's check out the animations. The Escalade's taillights are also going to be fully LED, but it is sticking to its iconic tall and sleek design. The LED brake light goes all the way from the top to the bottom, and the reverse light is going to be at the bottom. You also get an amber turn signal, but let's check out the animations. But the amount of luxury and the practicality are both very important with a full-size luxury SUV, so let's dive right into the interiors and see which one is superior. With the BMW X7, there are plenty of different options and packages you can choose from to enhance your overall experience on the interior. The door panel is going to be made of stitched leatherette at the top, some more leatherette through the center area and on the armrest, aluminum on your buttons, open pore wood, ambient lighting, a speaker grill, and you're going to find a lot of storage in the door pocket and the bottle holder at the bottom. The bottle holder can actually fit a full 32-ounce water bottle. There's going to be BMW branding on your illuminated door sills, and the seats are going to be made of cognac Sensifin leatherettes. Yes, these are not real leather, although you can option on real leather if you want. I think that these are good enough, especially since they have 20-way power adjusting. With the Escalade, you don't get as many options, but you do get a lot of nice features on the Sport Platinum model. The door panel on the Escalade is going to be a little bit more simple compared to the X7, although that is not going to score it a point. You get real stitched leather at the top, glossy wood trim, some more leather on the armrest, piping, and a ton of storage at the bottom. The Escalade seats are going to be made of quilted semi-aniline leather. They will have piping, stitching, speakers in the headrest, and 16-way power adjusting. The X7 seats have slightly more ways of adjustment, so just keep that in mind if that is important to you. Now that we are inside, let's cover everything on the interior of the BMW X7 and the Cadillac Escalade. The X7 steering wheel is going to be made of real leather. You get a leather-covered airbag cover, aluminum on your buttons and your paddle shifters, and the steering wheel itself is going to be power adjusting and heated. The Escalade steering wheel is also going to be made of leather. It too is going to be heated and power adjusting. The airbag cover is going to be in leather and most of the buttons are going to be in plastic. There is a button so that you can talk to the second and third row passengers more easily through an intercom. There is going to be some wood trim, and you're going to find this light bar at the top indicating that this Escalade has Super Cruise. Moving on to the gauge cluster, both the Escalade and the X7 are going to have large, fully digital displays with a lot of customization. With the X7, you can change the shape of the gauges, and you can also change what is being shown in the middle. The Escalade, however, is going to come out on top when it comes to customization. The overall resolution of the display is going to be better, probably because the Escalade has an OLED display compared to LCD in the X7. Using the display to the left of the gauges, you can customize everything that you want. You can make the whole gauge cluster a map, and you can also use an augmented reality camera. It may seem silly to have this because you can see the same things as the front window, but when you use the navigation, it has these really cool 3D projections that will project on the road itself, so I think that is going to be worth it. The Escalade and the X7 have been quite different throughout this whole video, but one thing that they are very similar in is how stunning the materials are. The X7 is going to have a dashboard that is covered in leatherette and open pore wood trim. You also get some aluminum, some more open pore wood trim on the center area, and glass controls. I appreciate that with the BMW, you can customize literally anything. You can choose whether you want those glass controls or not. Also, you can choose if you want a dashboard in real leather, and they also give you 7 different trim options, so you're not just stuck with open pore wood. Even though you get more customization on the inside of the X7, the Escalade still offers gorgeous materials. The dashboard is going to be covered in stitched leather and glossy wood trim. There's more real leather and stitching running underneath the screen. Glossy wood trim is going to cover the cup holders, and you'll find piping, stitching, and an Escalade logo on this very detailed armrest. This plastic gear selector that creaks and looks like it was right out of the Chevrolet Bolt is the only very low quality part of this Escalade's cabin, as is the infotainment dial that looks like and feels like it costs 5 cents. In comparison, the X7's infotainment knob and gear selector look like they cost money because they can be made of real glass and they are both very satisfying to use. Storage is very important for these full-size luxury SUVs. In the X7, you can slide that back for a wireless phone charger and 2 heated and cooled cup holders. In the center console, there is not going to be a ton of space, but it is going to be felt-lined and I think it's going to be usable for most families. Even though the X7 has plenty of storage, I think that the Escalade is going to be for buyers that need a lot of storage. On each side of the center console, you're going to find a little cubby. You can put anything that you want here, including a small purse, a 32-ounce water bottle, or something like a snack bag for the kids. Underneath this glossy piece of wood trim, you'll find a little storage area, 2 cup holders, and 2 USB ports. In the center console, we have the optional cool box. This will go for $800, and I think it is absolutely worth it if you live in warmer states. In comparison to the regular center console offered in the Escalade, the cool box is going to compromise the space just slightly, but I think that it's going to be usable for all families. You also get 2 USB ports and 2 different modes so that you can set it to be a refrigerator or just a traditional cool box. When BMW refreshed the X7 for 2023, they moved all the climate controls inside the infotainment system. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with this because I feel like it is pretty easy to use. You still get 5-zone climate control when you choose the Climate Comfort package, which is going to be class-leading alongside the Mercedes GLS. I can tell they tried to make this as user-friendly as possible because they have climate menu shortcut buttons at the bottom of the screen. I know that it would be very frustrating to use if they didn't include this. While I understand why people may not like this as much as physical controls, I do think that the interior design looks a lot more sleek without the physical buttons there. The 2024 Escalade still had these high-quality and very premium-feeling metal toggles to control the climates. The 2025 Escalade has all the climate controls built into the screen, so just keep that in mind. With these, you can control the fan speed, the temperature, the modes, the front and rear defrost, and whether the climate control is on or off. One thing that I do like is that you have redundant controls in the infotainment system in case you want to use that. However, one advantage that the X7 is going to have is that it has 5 zones of climate control, 2 in the front, 2 in the rear seats, and 2 in the third row compared to 3 in the Escalade. I cannot forget to mention that both vehicles are going to have heated, ventilated, and massaging seats. The X7's massage quality is going to be better, and it also lets you have the heated and ventilated seats on at the same time. Let's move on to the infotainment system. The X7 is running BMW's latest software, which is known as iDrive8. These little tiles on the home screen are going to represent information that is very important, like the weather or the time. There are also a ton of apps that you can choose from. This little icon on the menu to the left is going to bring up all of your apps. You have weather, navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you also have Amazon Alexa. There will be a Wi-Fi hotspot in here, but you do have to pay for it. There are so many useful things that the iDrive8 infotainment system has, and I'm only going to touch the surface. You have something like the personal assistant, so you can say heat my seat as the driver. It's going to know to heat the driver's seats. You can also say something like roll down my window. It's only going to roll down the driver's window, but it's not going to roll it back up for safety reasons. You also have the gesture controls. This works with the audio. It also works with the 3D view, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. You can use your hand so that you can spin around the vehicle with a 3D view, and you can also crank up the volume by spinning your hand around. Spinning my hand to the right is going to increase the volume, and spinning my hand to the left is going to decrease it. Another super convenient thing that the BMW X7 has is the infotainment dial. A lot of BMW drivers don't want to have fingerprints all over the screen, and I completely understand that. You can use this very high quality and very satisfying to use knob at the bottom so that you can control everything on the screen. To go onto the menu to the left, you're just going to bump it over, and you can also push down on it if you want to select something. There are also shortcut buttons like media, navigation, and home. The X7 may have a 27-inch display, but it has nothing on the Escalade, which has a large 38-inch curved OLED display. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's only going to take up a small square of the screen because of the way it's shaped. You also get 140 different options for ambient lighting. It's also going to have incredible resolution, I believe the best in the class because it is OLED. You can also control the rear media, which I will get into a little bit later. Both vehicles have their own advantages and disadvantages when it comes to the infotainment system. The Escalade's resolution is going to be a lot better, but the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto only take up a very small section of the screen because of the way it's shaped. The X7's infotainment system is absolutely amazing as well. You get all of those gimmicks like the personal assistant and the gesture controls, but also the climate menu could be a little bit better laid out. But enough talk about the infotainment systems, let's talk about the cameras because it can be hard to park a large full-sized SUV. The X7 has this very high-resolution backup camera with a 360-degree view. You also have a lot of other views like the trailer view, a 3D view, and a car wash view. To spin around the X7 in the 3D view, you can use the gesture controls or the pre-planned points. This can be very helpful when parking the X7. You also have the backup assistant. That is going to take you out of a space the same way you got into it. It is going to remember how you steer the vehicle into a driveway or into a parking space from up to 50 feet. You can also record up to 1,000 new paths. If you go to a place very often and you know that you have a very hard time with their driveway or their parking space, you can record a new path. So anytime you start the backup assistant, the X7 is going to know that you're in the location and it's going to be able to take you out of the parking space or the driveway. This can be so helpful sometimes because backing out of a long and narrow driveway is not always fun, but you can program the car to do it for you. The only thing that you have to do is control the throttle and the brake. It's hard to believe that the Escalade's camera system is considered normal next to the X7. Of course, you get a very high-resolution backup camera with a 360-degree view, 4 different views including a wheel shot, a wide-angle shot, a front view, and a trailering view, but you can get all of that and more with the X7. Also, there is nothing good about the 3D view in the Escalade. It's like a cartoonish version of a black Escalade, and the resolution is pretty bad, and I don't think that Cadillac did a very good job with that. One thing that is cool is that when the parking sensors detect an obstacle, it's going to vibrate your seat, not make a loud and annoying noise. Up top in the X7, you're going to find a standard mirror, a fabric headliner, and this large panoramic sunroof. The front part is going to open up just like a normal sunroof, but we have the Sky Lounge panoramic sunroof as part of the executive package. All those dots are going to light up to make a very cool experience at nighttime. Up top in the Escalade, there's a button to open and close the trunk, an Alcantara headliner, and there's also a button to lower and raise the seats. This is a small but useful feature that can save a lot of time. Now let's take a look at the rear seats because that is very important for a full-size luxury SUV. The X7's door panel looks very nice, especially with the leatherette and the open pore wood. You also get sunshades that are powered. That is really nice, especially considering that you cannot get sunshades whatsoever on the Escalade. And also, one thing that the Escalade cannot do is control the panoramic sunroof shade. The seats are going to be made of the same cognac Sunsifin leatherettes. They will have quilting, stitching, heating, perforation, and 6-way power adjusting. Power second row seats are standard on the X7, and you cannot get them on the 2024 Escalade. You can get it with the executive second row package on the 2025 model. On the back of the seats, you get a USB-C port, an iPad mount, some ambient lighting, and a good amount of storage in the seat back pocket. In the middle, you get your 3rd and 4th zones of climate control, vents, some gloss black trim, and 3 stages of heated seats. The Escalade is locked into 3 zones of climate control, whereas the X7 you can get 5. Underneath all of that is going to be 2 USB-C ports, a 12-volt outlet, and a little bit of storage space. You can fold down part of the middle seat for a nicely padded armrest, a little bit of felt-lined storage, and 2 cup holders. That's going to be it for the rear seats of the X7. Let's go ahead and see what the Escalades are like. The Escalade's rear seats really have it going on. There's a lot to discuss here, so let's get started. The door panel is absolutely beautiful with the speaker grille, the piping, stitching, leather on the armrest, and glossy wood trim. However, you do not get sunshades. The seats are going to be made of quilted semi-aniline leather like you get in the front. There's also piping, stitching, perforation, and heating. In the middle here, you're going to find your third zone of climate control, 3 stages of heated seats, and pop-out cup holders. Underneath all of that is going to be 2 USB-C ports and some HDMI outlets. One thing the Escalade has that the X7 does not have is the rear media system. You do have to pay for Wi-Fi, but you can watch YouTube, Hulu, and YouTube Kids. It also comes with Cadillac branded headphones, which feel very nice and they block out the noise very well. Keep in mind that if you need more from the back seats of your Escalade, the executive second row seating package on the 2025 models run for $9,000. You cannot get that package on the pre-refreshed 2024 models. The third rows are equally as important as the second rows, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. To get into the third row of the X7, you're just going to push a button and the seat is automatically going to slide out of the way. The only thing that the Escalade has over the X7 in terms of amenities is going to be the space. Otherwise, the X7 has pretty much everything you can ask for from a third row. You get a lot of leatherette, a cup holder, ambient lighting, a nice and large window, a vent on the ceiling, a 5th zone of climate control, 3 stages of heated seats, and a third row sunroof that does not open but has a power shade. Additionally, the seats are power adjusting. In case you forgot to put them up, there are switches in the second row so that you can easily do so without going to the cargo area. To put the seat back, you're just going to push the button. Now let's take a look at the Escalade's third row. Right off the bat, the accessibility is going to be a lot easier. It's simpler to get the seat up and out of the way. You're just going to push this button twice, and that's going to fold the seat down on the first press and fold it out of the way on the second press. That's going to give you a wider access point than the X7, and take a look at those beautiful semi-aniline leather seats. There's tons of space in the third row of the Escalade, and I think most people are going to be fine, even full-grown adults. As far as amenities are concerned, you get 2 cup holders, a leather armrest, a USB-C port, and a nice and large window. The X7 may have more amenities, but the Escalade is going to have way more comfortable seats because they are made of semi-aniline leather and it's going to have more space. The cargo area is also very important because you need to haul around your family's luggage. The X7 is going to have a very unique feature of the split tailgates. This bottom portion is going to keep your cargo from rolling out, and you can also sit on it while tailgating. I think that is a very nice feature and it can be very useful. Behind the third row is going to be about 12.8 cubic feet of space. There's a ton of space underneath the floor, and this model has the second cargo cover and the pillows for your headrest under there. You can fold down the seats electronically. There's a button over here that reads Max Luggage. That's going to fold down all of the seats. It's amazing to see all of those seats work together to get them all down in the most efficient way possible. Behind the second row is going to be 48.6 cubic feet of space, and as a maximum you get 90.6. If you choose to get the captain's chairs in the X7, they won't fold flat, so just keep that in mind. They actually are not going to fold down at all. With the Escalade, you can get the bench seat or the captain's chairs and all the seats are going to fold flat. One thing to keep in mind is that the X7 actually has the smallest cargo measurement in the whole class. The Escalade is not at the top, but it's going to offer substantially more space. The X7 comes in at 90.6 cubic feet as a maximum, and that is not going to be a lot, especially considering the size. If you take long road trips with a lot of people and a lot of stuff frequently, just keep that in mind because the X7 is not going to be very useful for that. Now let's take a look at the cargo area in the Escalade. The X7 had the split tailgate, and the Escalade does not have that, but the Escalade also has a feature that the X7 does not have. You can actually pop the rear window. That's going to let you easily access anything that you need to very quickly. To open the trunk, all you're going to do is push the Cadillac crest. As you can probably tell, the Escalade has substantially more space than the X7. Behind the third row is going to be 25.5 cubic feet of space. You also get a very large and scratched up speaker grille. Over to the right is going to be a little hook for your cargo cover, and you can also fold down the second and third rows. Just keep in mind that you cannot fold the second row back up, you just have to do it manually. To fold down the third row, you're gonna have to hold down the buttons, but they do fold down a little bit quicker than the X7. That's gonna reveal 72.9 cubic feet of space. When you fold all rows down, that's gonna give you 121 cubic feet. Again, that's not class leading because the Jeep Grand Wagoneer has a slight edge, but that's gonna be a lot more useful than the X7, and you also get an extended wheelbase option in case you need more space. Even though you don't have the power abilities for the second row, the Escalade is gonna be able to fold down the seats in a way that it's not gonna hit the rear media screen. The seat is gonna go back in a way so that the headrest doesn't hit. I think that is very thoughtful and a great design from Cadillac. Now let's take a look and see what's powering these two. The BMW X7 XDrive40i has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine with a mild hybrid under the hood. That makes 375 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. All of that is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The fuel economy is phenomenal for a full-size SUV at 21 in the city, 25 on the highway, and 22 combined. That is going to give it a big advantage over other full-size SUVs, and it's going to give it a very big advantage over the Cadillac Escalade. Speaking of the Escalade, I probably don't even have to tell you what's under the hood of it. The powertrain has been around for so long, basically everyone knows it. Yes, I am talking about that 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8. That makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. All of that is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The fuel economy is not amazing at 14 miles per gallon in the city, 19 on the highway, and 16 combined. The more high-performance V model is going to have a supercharger with 682 horsepower and an amazing exhaust notes. The X7 also has a high-performance M60i, but it's not going to be as high-performance as the Escalade V. Now let's see about those acceleration tests. The X7 may have a little bit less power than the Escalade, but it's going to be a little bit lighter too, so it's going to have a quicker acceleration. The 0 to 60 time is 5.5 seconds compared to 6.5 on the Escalade. I would say that's pretty substantial. Also, BMW is more geared toward performance, so it's going to have wider tires, a faster transmission, and a faster engine overall. It's not to say that the Escalade is bad, just if you want more performance you need to get the Escalade V. Also, the BMW X7 M60i has about the same 0 to 60 time as the Escalade V, which I think is kind of wild. As far as dimensions are concerned, the X7 is 203 inches long and 80 inches wide, while the Escalade is 212 inches long and 81 inches wide. That is a pretty substantial difference if you ask me. Well, that is going to wrap up today's comparison between this 2023 BMW X7 XDrive40i and this 2024 Cadillac Escalade Sport Platinum. I'm going to do things a little bit differently here. I'm not going to establish a clear winner because they are both amazing in their own ways. So here's what it comes down to. Choose the X7 if you prioritize more performance, a more luxurious third row, more customization on the inside, and a smaller body. Choose the Escalade if you want a more iconic design, more attention, the latest technology, more space overall, and the Super Cruise. Both of these are amazing in their own ways, and I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. It's just a matter of what you prioritize. Thank you guys so much for watching this comparison, and be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.